Good morning. Welcome to yet another wonderful day today. It's the 11th day in the month of December 2023. Welcome to today, the paper review this lovely morning on Quest Television. My name is Alex Obunnaya, and I am not alone. I have here with me Comrade Efe Odomo. Good morning to you, Comrade.
Yeah, good morning, and welcome ourselves back to another brand new week.
Okay.
A week that we have never seen before.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay, a week that we have never seen before. Okay, and today we have 4 dailies this morning up for review. We have The Guardian, we have Tribune, we have Daily Trust, and we have the Punch newspaper. Without further ado, let's go straight to the dailies, and we kick off with The Guardian. 6 months on, Tinubu's net worth unknown, CSO's kick. And it's captioned Asset Declaration. 6 months on, Tinubu's net worth unknown, CSO's kick. ECOWAS team negotiates with Niger on return to civil rule. That's also on the front page. Disclose how much oil Nigeria produces, exports. Serap tells NNPC. Federal government secures 100 electric buses from Orlando. You can read up that story on page 4. Time to reorganize and adopt state policing. You can also read that on page 2, or 12 rather. 109 senators donate December pay to Tudunbiri drone victims. Comrade Oman and I were just, gossiping about that a short while ago. Say that again?
I'm going to be a senator soon.
Interesting. I can't wait for that to happen. I'm sure of getting a PA slot.
No, that is not a problem at all. SSA is what it will get.
You know what I'm saying. Okay. Nigeria lost over 15 multinationals in 3 years. That's not good at all. And $7 trillion yearly funding worsening climate, land crisis report finds. Whatever that means, you can read that story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Our next port of call is Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune newspaper has on its lead story, or on its front page, importers, exporters incur losses as exchange rates hike bites. You can read up the story on page 6, and it comes with rider review exchange rate policy, CPP tells CBN. Above the masthead, coups. Tinubu wants transition plan for Niger, Mali, others. And beside that story, Clark to Tinubu apply doctrine of necessity to resolve Ondo impasse. And still on the front page, so many stories on the front page of a Tribune begging for attention. Cash crisis hits, anger spreads. That's on page 2. Kano Southeast Security Ohaneze Ndigbo to table key demands before Tinubu. And Senate Committee query, NPA clarifies $852 million, 1 billion naira levies flagged in audit report. How NJC overruled FJSC on Supreme Court, Kano High Court judges nominations. That's on page 3. 16 dead, 27 injured in Kaduna-Abuja Expressway accidents. That's a sad one. And federal government mulls on bundling regional discos for states to have more stakes. Tough times for Nigerians as developers increase house prices by 70%. Wow. Okay. That's that from the Tribune newspaper. Let's dive straight to the Daily Trust. Why Naira's scarcity persists despite Supreme Court judgment. That's the lead story on the front page of Daily Trust. Queues for cash resurface. POS operators hike charges. Banks ration withdrawals. Complain of cash limits. No need to panic. CBN officials. Why no need to panic, CBN officials? Everybody is panicking. The cash is not there, and yet they're saying no need to panic. Okay, after suspending airport concession, federal government budgets 85 million naira for consultancy. Poor primary health care fueling maternal child deaths. That's according to presidency. And 16 killed, 27 injured in the Kaduna-Abuja auto crash. After Daily Trust report, federal government goes after kidney traders. That's also on the front page of Daily Trust. Senators donate salaries to victims of Kaduna Village massacre. And 2024 budget, Works Ministry to spend 1 billion naira on grass cutting, 3.1 billion on vehicles. Wow. Expensive grass cutting. ECOWAS reopens talks with Niger junta, demands short transition roadmap. Okay, let's now turn our attention finally to the Punch newspaper. Dangote refinery, diesel, jets, AI hit market, January petrol delayed. That's quite a little bit clumsy if you ask me, but you can read it up. It's on the front page, and it's on page 2 rather of the Punch newspaper. That's the lead story on the front page. Akeredolu, Assembly won't probe signature forgery allegations, lawmakers. Sorry about that. And ECOWAS panel to resume talks. More sanctions loom. That's on page 5 of the Punch newspaper. And still on the Punch newspaper, above the masthead, Nigeria's revenue not enough to support development, says IMF. And external reserves fall by $520 million in 5 weeks. That's according to CBN. And finally, above the masthead, PFAs make 8 trillion naira profit from pension investments. Wow. And finally, this time from the Punch newspaper, federal government to spend 837 billion naira on 2,254 roads and bridges. The story is on page 30 of the Punch newspaper. And with that, we conclude the review of the dailies. But let's now turn our attention to our comrade Efe Odomo. So many stories there on the front pages of the Guardian, Tribune, Daily Trust, and Punch newspaper. But I'm going to take my first question from the Guardian. Yes, the Guardian. Asset declaration, 6 months on, Tinubu's net worth unknown. CSO's kick.
Yes, thank you, and good morning. Welcome to another paper review, fellow Nigerians. According to Code of Conduct Bureau, that should have been the first thing they should have done for any public officer. And once you refuse to do that, I think it is an act of impunity from the officers that is involved. We have done 6 months and we don't know the net worth of Mr. President. And definitely other officers too will have been in the same lane. We're only beaming the searchlight on Mr. President right now. I've not heard of any of the governors that have declared asset. I think it's only one of them that was publicly announced. That was, should it be Sokoto or so, when they said this is worth about 9.something trillion naira. After that, we've not heard of any other one again. The Code of Conduct Bureau should do their work. Because at the end of the day, if anybody is dipping his fingers into the public purse, nobody will be able to know exactly how much he has carted away, because you don't know his value when he came in. And you cannot determine his value when he's leaving. It is only when you know how much he brought into government that you can also now appropriate what he has gotten for the period in office and do plus and minus and see what is going to likely to be when the time he leaves office. But this is a situation everybody is quiet and it seems nothing is happening. I will now subverting the process of electing officers and running our federal treasury.
No, let me quickly come in at this time. You know, what really is the essence of asset declaration as far as Nigeria is concerned? Because even if he declares his assets, or in this case he hasn't declared his asset, when he leaves office, if it turns out that he enriched himself maybe illegally or
if you want to enrich yourself, it's illegal. That language you're enriching of
exactly. But what will happen? Will anything happen to him? Because you know we've had presidents come and go and nothing has happened. So is it just for yes. I'm really short of words now because I really don't know the exact word to use. But is it just for paperwork, or what really is the essence?
The laws are the laws. They are there. Whether we use them now, whether we refer to them now, whether we implement them now is not the issue. The issue is there will be a day the king that knows Joseph will sit on the throne. So we cannot say because we have the laws and nobody is actually looking at them, we should abandon them. No. Let them still be on there. You don't forget, there was a time a head of state in this country was seizing the assets of or illegally acquired assets of some of the past administrators. That was when they took some of our assets from Audu Bako and Co. So when we say because they are not doing that, they are not being held accountable for anything, therefore we may not actually have anything. I agree with you quite well, but definitely one day we cannot continue like this. We are improving on daily basis or yearly basis also. Well, then if you have a responsive government, one day will not say, okay, come, let us look at the issues of this. You remember what happened in the case of Jerry Rawlings in Ghana? Everybody was doing what he was doing with the highest level of impunity. Nobody thought anything could change. But just one day the man came up and said, no, enough is enough. Like our former head of state, the Dagogo president, enough is enough. He comes to the office, change most of these things, and everybody will fall in line. So the Code of Conduct Bureau should continue doing their job, whether the authority is looking at their end or not. They have jobs to perform under the Constitution. Unless, of course, you are not telling us that they should jettison that department, that is the Code of Conduct Bureau. Otherwise, they should do their job. Then we'll just be waiting for that one day where God will intervene and somebody who knows what to do will come into office and most of these things will change. Okay,
let's look at the Naira issue now, because it seems that this matter is really worsening. But CBN keeps telling us no need to panic. So whose report should we believe?
Do we believe the report of man or the report of God? That's the question you're asking now. The CBN actually, they are deliberately doing what they are doing. We should not mind words over it. They are deliberately doing what they are doing. Somebody was saying it yesterday that every December we have this type of problems. Last year it was worse. We were all deceived to take our money to the banks that they will give us new currency, or new notes, not new currency this time, new notes, only for us to deposit our money in the bank. Those who put 200,000, they came back with 60,000. That 40,000 till date is unaccounted for. This is another period where you continue telling us that there is money, we should not panic, and we are not seeing it to use. Nobody argues how to jump when there is a vast land. You go to the land and jump. If the federal government is telling us that there is no cause for alarm, we should not panic, everything is under control, there is enough currency in circulation, let them show it to us. This is a statement that is addressed to the eyes, not to the ears. We are tired of addressing to the ears. We let them address it to our eyes. The POS operators have also started hiking their rate of collections. Yeah. And you're telling us the cash is there. When you're, even in the banks, we go to these big banks, these big commercial banks, they will tell you, we are not giving more than 20,000. We are not giving more than 30,000. So where is the excess liquidity we are talking about? If they are mopping up currency from circulation, let us come up and tell us. There is nothing we can do to them. We cannot flog them. We cannot sue them in the country where we are. Not that we cannot sue them, but who is prepared to do that now? Tell us the situation of things. Nobody will kill you for it. But I know quite well that there is serious Naira crisis in circulation. If you can do a transfer of any amount, yes, but you cannot withdraw. You cannot withdraw to more than a certain level. And most of our market women, they are still not too disposed to transfer. And this is keeping hungers on the table of so many Nigerians, including you and I. Well, I know that you are here alone, but you go to the market yourself.
True, I do.
So if you don't have money in your pocket, what do? CBN should please solve or save Nigerians this type of agony. We have gone through many agonies, and this one will not be a better one at all.
Okay, let's stay with money, but this time a different kind of money now. Yes. The senators, 109 of them, have sacrificed their December salary, 1 million naira, amounting to 109 million naira. They've donated same to victims of the Tudunbiri accidental bombing in Kaduna State.
Yes, well, first of all, let me say that bombing was very, very unfortunate. And the military has come out to say that they were sorry, it was a mistake. You don't kill somebody who is begging for something he has done wrong. The country should at least accept their apology, but let it not happen again. Because people have started giving it an ethnic coloration. Yeah, somebody said that have they bombed the West and the East any day? Why is it that it's only North they are bombing? Well, we should not go into that now. Now the senator salary that you actually talked about is at least they have done something which I think nobody has ever done in the country. 1 million naira. Is it the basic salary or is that the total salary of the senators? Whether it is the basic or the total salary, at least we should still tell them thank you for their magnanimous offer. And then may the souls of those who died rest in peace. We should also thank the senators too, because if they refuse to do it, nobody can hold them to ransom, because it is not part of their duty. It is the federal government duty to pay compensation, and I think they will do that.
Okay.
Yes, but I also thank the senators for what they have done.
Let's go to the southeast now, where I think the Punch newspaper has something from the southeast. Kano Southeast Security, Ohaneze Nigbo to table key demands before Tinubu.
Yes, I think that's the way to go about it now. You know, if you commit a treasonable felony offense, once our government leaves office, normally you are supposed to be free, because they will tell you it is the government that, the past government that they were fighting, and which also applies same in this institution. But I think this one has a political undertone. People who are working against the release are more than those who are in favor of his release, even from the southeast itself. Yeah. Some of the governors don't want him out for reasons I don't know. And once you use force and the force is not working, the best thing is to come back and judge. When you judge, there must be a political resolution. So if they have their cards to their chest and they meet Mr. President is somebody that listens. And I think it's best time for him. I'm not saying that he must. It's best time for him to actually look at the demand of these people, set this young man free. Say, please, it's not a coercive statement. Let him go. Let him go. And I think that will bring some relative peace and ease to the southeast.
True.
Most of this agitation they are having is because of
his incarceration.
Yeah. And I think they also followed it blindly. Because you cannot say mosquitoes perching on your scrotum, and you got angry, you are not cutting off the scrotum. Who is bearing the brunt? He's been incarcerated in Abuja. You are busy killing yourself in the east. Whose economy are you destroying? Whose citizens are you destroying? It's the same the southeasterners that are the receiving end. You lock up your markets once in a week.
Every Monday.
Every Monday.
Example.
Yes, you are losing economic value of your product. And what of those who depends on daily income to survive? What happens to those people? So I think that what they have done now is the best thing they should do, and they should have done it long ago. Sit down with the federal government. Look, there is nothing wrong in telling somebody, please. Nothing is wrong in that. It is the essence of Adam not being able to tell God, we are sorry. That puts all of us in a mess. Like somebody jokingly said, if we are all suffering from the sins of Adam because he didn't say he was sorry, why are we not also benefiting from the blessings of Abraham? Why is everybody not benefiting from the blessings of Abraham? So let them please follow this course and let the young man go home. I will be so glad if it does.
Okay, there's this one now. Tough times for Nigerians as developers increase house prices by 70%. That's also from the Nigerian Tribune. What's the implication of this?
Yes, what are the variable costs that leads to building a house? Yes, a house. Look at the cost of cement. Look at the cost of iron rods. Look at the cost of sand. When about 2 months ago, when we bought sand, we bought at 23,000. But as this last weekend, they were telling us that it is now 33. And the man said, look, because I know you, I can give you for 32. So by the time you now bring all these costs together and you complete your house, nobody can tell you the price at which you give it out. Nobody makes business and with the mind of making losses at the end of the day. Though we have business that is called profit and loss as the accounting background. Nobody, they just put the loss there in case something goes wrong. But nobody wants to make losses.
Okay, let me quickly chip in this now. Yeah. What happens to houses that have been built 5-10 years ago? Because you still see landlords, upping their rents.
Now, let me also ask you one question from what you just said. If you built your house 10 years ago, and assuming you completed that house with 10 million, now if you continue collecting rent of 50,000 naira per annum, if that house dilapidates and all the house is broken down, can you rebuild another one with that 50,000? What we operate in Nigeria is replacement cost. Not actually what the replacement cost being dictated by the market value of the present day. It is a normal business. Just like you have the fuel issue, the petroleum issue. You can buy at 15 naira per liter from the depot today. If you now hear that tomorrow they are going to increase it to 110 naira, will you continue selling at that 15 naira? Because if you do that, you will run out of business. You have to sell at the current price so that you're able to restock. If you built your house 10 years ago with 10 million and the prices of materials have gone up to 50 million, and you want to continue collecting rent on 10 million, if you want to renovate that house, definitely after about 10 years, the house is due for renovation.
But we see some of these houses not even touched, and yet the price, the landlords or the owners keep increasing.
Yes, you are now looking at it from only one angle. What are the other variable costs that sustain man? What of the social costs that is associated? That is from where the landlord is getting his money to feed his family, to pay the children's school fees, to do other things. That price can never hold. The what can hold in Nigeria is for the federal government to be responsive to their duties, make most of these things that are available, that are supposed to be available. Then what this complaint we are having will be a thing of the past. You cannot tell me that if I depend on one asset to survive my family, and because when I got it was very cheap, then I should continue on that rate when every other thing has gone up. It is not possible.
Okay, let's go to Ondo State now. We've been hearing that the signature of the governor has been at some point forged. The lawmakers have come out to say they're not going to probe it because the governor has not complained officially. What does this say about the lawmakers in the states themselves?
Look, let us start it from the angle of Mr. Governor. You have been sick. You were in overseas for a very long time. You came back, you abdicated your office, and you are now staying in Ibadan. The government functionaries must continue. You cannot hold the state to ransom. And there are some things that must be done, whether you are there or not. Why not hand over these powers to your deputy pending when you come back? Nobody is threatening you with impeachment. Neither is the deputy threatening to unseat you. Now, when you have some of these things that are supposed to have moved on and they are not moving on, people will tend to do what they are not supposed to do. And that is the issue of this forgery of this signature that is people are talking about. Because they have looked at it that there is nobody that is there that will hold them accountable. Don't also forget, this is not the first time. When our former president was in the UK for medical treatment for almost 6 months, if not more, they were moving documents from Nigeria to the UK for him to sign until the man said, "Oh, look, I have a vice president. Go to him, let him do this." But one of him, Mr. President, had not given that directive. Don't you think that somebody somewhere along the line will want to be overzealous and say, "Okay, let me do this because Mr. President is not there, he will not query me"? Let this man have a substantive deputy and let him act as that deputy governor and an acting governor pending the period that this man will come back. It is because of the vacuum that all these things are coming up. If the vacuum were not to be there, nobody can forge the signature of a sitting
governor. Would you want to toe the line of Edwin Clark, who said that, who has called on Tinubu to apply the doctrine of necessity so as things could go smoothly in that state?
Exactly. This is it. I think that the president has summoned them again over this past weekend. I don't know the outcome of the meeting. That should be the second time they are giving them summons to come and meet with Mr. President in Asobila. Let the governor actually tell us what is the problem. Why is he not going to the office? If he's still sick, we have a civil service code of conduct. There are a number of months you stay out of office and you are relieved of that position. Why are we not applying it? Now, if we assuming nobody prays for anybody, which is not even supposed to be the issue, because the life you cannot create, you cannot demand for it. If he dies today, are they going to tie his suit to that seat for the next 4 years or for 8 years because he was elected? Once you are incapacitated, you leave office. It is not the first person. It's not the first person to do it.
Okay, talking about leaving office, Comrade Odomo, I want to leave the studio. Yes, indeed. We want to leave the studio. So
I'm not tired of leaving the studio.
Okay. So I want to say a big thank you to you so much for doing justice to the issues that we looked at on the papers. 4 papers this morning were up for review. And I want to say a big thank you to Vanguard newspaper for sponsoring this segment of the big story on Quest today. Here on Quest Television, this beautiful Monday morning, the 11th day of December. I want to thank the guys out there. You cannot see them, but they're doing wonders, pressing the right buttons so that you can hear us and see us clearly from wherever you are watching us from. Once again, Comrade Omo, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And by His grace, Jesus Taris, tomorrow we'll be here again.
Very true. My name is Alex Obunaya. Good morning.